Good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to this important meeting. My communication will be a very short one. It will deal with the discovery of a hoard of copper and semiprecious beads found in 1984 at Mohenjo-Daro. So I will just move to the important person in this research, Michael Jansen and Maurizio Tosi. We miss both of them. And in the center of the slide, you see the map of Mohenjo-Daro, which was the most important result of this project, probably, or one of the most important results. The symbols that you see in the map refer to the distribution of craft activities in Mohenjo-Daro. This field research demonstrated that in Mohenjo-Daro we do not have a single craft quarters, but a very complex sequence of different craft occupation in different points of the sites, with a particular focus on the southeastern part of the mount. But I am not speaking about this today. I move to the object of this communication. Let me first remember the person who actually discovered this hoard, Professor Maurizio Tosi. Now, on February 10th, 1984, Maurizio Tosi found on the surface of Mohenjo-Daro, near the corner, the western corner, if I am not wrong, of the HR area, a group of 22 shards of a copper vessel eroded on surface. So it came out that these 22 fragments were actually broken from the mouth of the copper pot, which was buried at a depth of about 20 centimeters below the surface of the site, as it was at the time. Just note that the surface of Mohenjo-Daro is eroding very fast, so probably if the vessel would not have been recovered at the time, now it would be completely destroyed and the objects would have been lost. So we got the permission at the time of recovering the vessel, and the container itself came out in about 90 shards. So what you see here is not the actual pot, but the shape was exactly the same, so a carinated handy with a round bottom. Okay, so the pot contained a set of important objects, which were excavated, documented with pictures and drawings. Everything was packaged, brought to Karachi. Maurizio Tosi wanted to have the finds exported to Italy temporarily for a major program of archaeometric analysis and conservation, but eventually this was not possible. So the pot itself should have been in Karachi, in the exploration branch, even now. As it was not possible to bring it to Italy, Maurizio Tosi lost interest in this find and everybody forgot it. Also because in the meantime, in the last 40 years, many things changed. The institute changed, IsMEO, the institute changed its location, changed names, it was suppressed, it was reborn in new forms, and Maurizio Tosi passed away. And so it was the discovery was basically forgotten and somehow lost. So we are now Mario Micheli, my colleagues Mario Micheli and Alessandra Lazzari are now trying to recover all the information. For the moment we do not have the pictures, but they must be somewhere in the archives of IsMEO, which have been moved in other locations or even in the new museum, the Museo delle Civiltà in Rome, where the archives of the former Museum of Oriental Art had been transported. But I am confident that eventually we will also find the pictures. So for the moment today, I show you some of the graphic documentation, which are very accurate. This is the pot. Inside the pot there were two large blades in copper or bronze, which were stuck vertical inside the container, as you see here. And this is the final documentation at the end of the micro-excavation of the block of earth containing the pot. So eventually the inventory was the following. There were two large leaf-like blades, respectively 20 and 24 centimeter in residual length, part of the handle was missing, 3 flat axes or cells, 1, 2, 3, that you see here, one above the other, and not less than 106 beads in copper, agate, and faience tied up in a single string. As you can see, each bead was numbered, and so we know exactly in which sequence the beads were strung together before being deposited in the hoard. In the very bottom of the hoard there were 7 copper bracelets, some of which were solid and some others were made of a bronze sheet in a very precarious conditions of conservation. Okay, so these are the kind of objects, the most important ones composing the hoard. These are not the real objects found there. I put them here just to give you an idea of the general shape of the 2 blades, the copper bangles, and the 3 cells deposited inside, not the real objects. So this micro-excavation revealed the sequence of deposition of the objects into the pot before the pot was buried into the ground. So first the 7 bracelets were placed on top, one on top of the other, in the very bottom eastern side of the vessels. Then the smaller of the 3 cells was laid always on the eastern side of the interior. This was followed by the insertion of the string of 106 beads on top of the pile of bracelets. And then finally the 2 longer cells were pressed in the eastern half. Now, outside the vessel, 2 large blades, as I said, were stuck vertically into the ground, and probably a fragmentary addition stand and a broken brick were placed on top to seal the whole deposit. These are the blades. You see that the upper part is missing, probably eroded away in previous times, and they could not be recovered. The vessel itself has a long history because the bottom was probably damaged and worn, so the bronzesmiths, the Harappan bronzesmiths, they substituted the bottom with another round plate and fixed it with rivets. So this is the complete sequence of the rivets, their distance, and the size. So, okay, what is important for me methodologically is to stress how careful was the micro-excavation. If we do not record the context inside and outside the vessel, and we do not relate the stratigraphical sequence of what happened here, we are going to miss a lot of important information. In our case, it was possible thanks to the work of my friend, colleague, and former professor Giovanni Leonardi of the University of Padova. It was possible to ascertain that the hoard had been placed in an open area. Probably it was a courtyard, anyhow a space controlled within a house, but open. A space where previously some fireplaces, irregular, had been burning. Then a pit of about 50 centimeters in diameter was excavated, and the pot with the objects was laid into the ground. Probably here, I would say at least 50 centimeters, if not more, of the original surface were missing when the context was somehow recovered. And so you see here the in section, the earlier fireplaces in the open area, and then the erosion processes which invested part of the vessel, scattering its content. So it is possible to formalize the whole sequence of the events inside the pot in terms of the position of the artifacts, and outside the pot in terms of the evolution of this open area, of this outer area, anyhow connected with a single house. This is how the position of the single beads were recorded, some details. Each bead was numbered and recorded not only the shape but also the base material and the size of all the 106 beads. So what we need to do, what I need to do, is to go to Karachi, ask the permission to the Pakistani authorities to locate again what is left of this important discovery, and to process a new kind of documentation, complete information about its present state of conservation. And to conclude, these are the bangles in the bottom, the 7 bangles. You see, they were not very well preserved. The corrosion was very strong. And in different colors here you see the different objects. You can see really the movement of the hand which took the pile of bracelets and first of everything placed them in the bottom of the pot. So we have no idea, as you know, about the reason why these important objects were placed into the ground. They might have been set there with the idea of recovering them pretty soon, because copper objects will not, resist very well corrosion and burial alteration. So probably somebody put them into the ground for a short period. They might have been stored temporarily for some ceremony, for a dowry. We also have no idea if these objects are male-oriented or female-oriented. If female-oriented, as for example the bangles and the necklace, according to our at least present understanding, could have been belonging to a girl or a woman, but there is no way we can say anything like that, obviously. But if they were female properties, they might have been buried, inside of a marriage or something like that. Maybe they were part of a dowry, I don't know. But anyhow, the only hope for us to understand what happened lays in stratigraphy. And what happens usually in my experience when somebody finds a hoard, it is like a treasure hunt. Everybody is very excited. There is no time to excavate it properly. Everybody gets very excited, and usually the stratigraphic recording is not very good. In this case, we have the opportunity of proposing something better, a careful record. That means a careful micro-stratigraphic record that we propose to all our colleagues as a method of documentation that we hope might be applied also in other occasions. Thank you very much.